Hello and welcome to our Year with the Ears, our daily vlog where we relive our year living in the Walt Disney World Resorts in 2019. Today is day 61.
Today we needed to get some work done, so we decided we'd try to work poolside, but we found another pool here at Boardwalk. Not the quiet pool over by the villas and community hall, not the main pool, but a quiet pool here in the Boardwalk Inn garden area, just on the other side of where our room is actually. So we went over there to see, like, are there tables or something we can work at, and sure enough, they had a few tables and chairs with umbrellas. So we set up our computers and decided to work there poolside for, well, we're going to work all morning and probably most of the afternoon too, because we have a lot to do. But as we're sitting there working, we noticed there's a lot of stuff going on in the garden area right next to us. There's some people out there setting up these big long tables. They've got these gigantic Alice in Wonderland props they're putting out. They're decorating the table like there's some type of fancy reception or something like that going to be happening. So we're getting more and more curious as this goes on. Like, is someone actually going to be having a wedding reception here? Are we going to be swimming or working next to the pool while people are doing like a party? It just seemed really weird because I feel like they should rent out the whole space, not just the one little grassy area. So finally, our curiosity got the better of us. We packed up our laptops and threw them in the backpack and walked over to the cast member there to find out what in the world was going on.
Yeah, they had finally set everything up and we're wondering, are we going to end up being the back of like wedding photos or something? And we're not the only ones at the pool. So it's going to be like several people running around in bathing suits and stuff in the back of these photos. So I walked over to ask the cast member what this was for. Is it a party? Is it a wedding? We weren't sure. And she said, no, this is for the Disney Fairytale Weddings Showcase. I don't know what that is.
Yeah, like,
what is that?
More info maybe?
So every year, Disney Fairytale Weddings hosts this showcase where brides can come and check out vendors that Disney recommends. And of course, they've got photographers and all sorts of things. But they also set up these different themes where you can see, hey, if you get married here at Boardwalk or a Yacht Club, you could do this theme or that. Here's what it could look like. Here's some ideas. And we just happened to be down there the day they set this up, and this was an Alice in Wonderland fairy tale wedding. So I asked if we could take pictures because this was a really cool thing and I wanted to share these really pretty things that Disney had set out, but we're not part of the showcase, so I wasn't sure how that would play out. And she said, of course, you're welcome to. You're out here. There's no one here. By all means, take some pictures. And we got so excited.
Yeah, so we used to shoot weddings, both photography and videography, and it was a great creative outlet. Alyssa has a great creative eye. She did a lot of our second shooting, especially detailed shots at the wedding, receptions, things like that. And of course, I was the primary shooter on that, and I just love the creativity that goes into shooting weddings, but I also love the beauty of all the decorations and the symmetry when they set up like the table settings and stuff. Just makes for great pictures. And this was like the ultimate chance to take pictures of a wedding. There's no pressure because there's no bride and groom, there's no actual wedding going on. It's beautiful because they're putting their best foot forward and putting out the best of everything. And we don't have any time limit. There's nothing. We just do whatever we want to do. And it was just so much fun to take pictures.
It was amazing because no one was there yet. They were still at the main showcase with the vendors and they were just set up and ready for when they came over. So we had the best time taking pictures of the flowers on the table and of course everything's lined up perfectly because this is Disney and everything has to be set just right. And then they had this backdrop where you could take pictures and these huge teapots for the Alice in Wonderland theme. It was awesome.
It was amazing.
And then there was this archway with gorgeous flowers and the fountain was behind it. And we just had the best time taking so many pictures there. And then she goes, have you seen the other locations? There's more?
I'm sorry. We just found out that this is a thing, and you're telling me there's not just this one, there's multiple? Okay, tell us more.
Best day ever. So, of course, we still had our laptops with us and didn't want to walk around with those. So we went back to the room, dropped those off, and she told us, just head down the boardwalk, you can't miss it. And she was right. We headed down the boardwalk, and there in the main gazebo were these awesome decorations, so pretty, and I love Crescent Lake. So this is like the perfect background in my opinion.
Oh, yeah. And of course we took pictures there in that little gazebo area, all the beautiful setup they had there.
I loved that one.
It's one of our favorite spots at Boardwalk anyway, and so to have the whole wedding set up there, just absolutely beautiful. And then right outside of there, we saw this really old car. I was like, okay, I gotta go check this thing out, see what's going on. So it was a 1931 Ford Model A pristine condition, absolutely gorgeous old car. And the driver there was actually the owner of the car. His name was Dick, and he's owned this car for 23 years. And for 22 of those years, he's driven this car for Disney weddings. It was just amazing to talk to him and get his passion for that car. It was definitely his baby. He had put so much love and work into this, and he loved being a driver for Disney weddings because he got to take part in so many people's special day. He said it was just the coolest thing to be a part of the biggest day of someone's life over and over every single week as he drove to these different wedding locations. And of course, at Disney World, every wedding is going to be absolutely beautiful, and all the brides are going to be completely decked out and ready to go. So it was just really fun talking to him and learning how much he enjoyed doing his job there with that beautiful car.
He was so sweet, and we talked to him for probably half an hour. Talked about his car, different stories he had about driving for the weddings for Disney, and he just loved it. You could see it in his eyes. He truly had a passion for this and loved what he did, and we loved seeing that so much and talking to him about it. So we talked to the cast member who was there at the boardwalk, and they said, yeah, if you keep walking, you're going to find another one of these. And we were like, we are going to keep walking then. We're going to keep going. So we had it all the way over to Yacht Club, and the little gazebo there, they had this really pretty area set up where they have the Unity stand, showing that's something you can do there. They were still putting some final details on, so we kind of like moved our pictures around so that we weren't getting people in
Blocking
it.
out the cast members who were still doing the final little ribbons and stuff, you know?
It was awesome, but we made it work, and I loved the roses that they set up in here. The floral arrangement they had was amazing, and this just looked really simple but elegant, and I loved that about this area here. When we turned around, we saw all these tables set up similar to what you'd expect for a reception, and it was right there next to the marina where you rent boats. And they had different displays on each table to show what you could do for a nautical theme. And so, of course, we went over there and took all these pictures there. We loved it so much. We were having the best time.
It was so much fun. And they had so many different layouts for the same theme, but different types of tables, different covers, different table runners, all these different things. And we saw there were a few people starting to come out from the showcase and start to look around. They had like the lanyards that show they're part of it. And we thought maybe it was time to move on because there's people coming out. We should probably keep moving around back over to Boardwalk and just head back to our room. So we headed across the bridge there by Swan and Dolphin back towards the boardwalk, thinking we were done. But then when we walked up to the dance hall, we saw the marquee was advertising that they also had some space set up in there that you could go see. So we had to go in there and check that one out too because we're here. Why not? We got to get a look at everything we can before all the brides and the brides' moms and the bridesmaids and all them show up. We don't want to be there for all that. They can have it once they get there. We're going to get there ahead of them and move on.
Now this was really unique because one, it's indoors, and as cool as the Yacht Club stuff was, that was all outdoors in the sun, no shade whatsoever. That just seemed like a lot in the hot sun as it was, and this is only March. So this was indoors. They've got a disco ball. They have a huge screen where you can have pictures put up, video playing, and of course you can have music and dancing. I really loved it in here. And we got to talking to the cast member here, and they said, yeah, did you go here, here, here? Yep, we went to all the locations. Did you go to the attic? I'm sorry, Disney has a place called the Attic?
Should I want to go to the attic? Because that sounds like something out of a horror movie. I'm just wondering, like, have you been to the attic lately?
Is this like in Haunted Mansion? Like,
I
don't know.
Should I go to the attic?
We didn't even know what the attic was, so we had to ask, and they're like, oh, it's at Boardwalk. We were already at Boardwalk. We saw the one by the pool. No, they didn't tell you about the attic there? Is this a literal attic? Are we talking about a literal attic? I did not know. Like, no, it's actually called the attic. It looks like an attic.
And it's not on any map because we've looked. There's nothing there.
So they said, okay, here's what you need to do. Take the elevator up to the 3rd floor, walk to the left, and keep walking, and keep walking, and keep walking, and keep walking. We thought they were exaggerating until we actually took this trek, and they were not exaggerating. You actually think, like, eventually you're going to hit the end of the building because you just keep going and going and going. And all of a sudden there's a wall, and you turn, and there's this door. We walk into the door, and sure enough, there is this adorable room that looks like an old attic. There were covers on the chairs. There's a rocking horse hanging up. Everything you'd imagine you'd find in an old attic was sitting there. Of course, there's flowers on the table. This was a much smaller room. They could only have between like 30 and 50 people in here, but the view was amazing.
I love that they had an indoor area here, but they also had the balcony outdoors, and this is actually right above Jelly Rolls. So you really did walk all the way to the end of the building. You got all the way to the very end. You're right there above Jelly Rolls. You would have a beautiful view of illuminations over Crescent Lake when they were doing that, or Epcot Forever, or whatever the fireworks show may be. They're on the balcony, and then if you're in the room, you got the tables set up, and of course those decorations. It felt like the attic of the boardwalk. We have all these turn-of-the-century era toys and things stuck up on the ceiling and in the rafters, and just, it felt like you were kind of in grandma's attic, but in a classy way.
Yeah, it was really amazing. I loved the decor here. This would be really great for a birthday party or maybe a work meeting. So I really enjoyed that about it. And they said this is actually the cheapest of the locations that we saw today, and we're like, good to know. That could be helpful in the future.
I mean, it's also the smallest of the locations, so you got to keep that in mind. You can only have 30 people or so, so most weddings wouldn't work there, but then if you did keep it really small, and I guess most weddings nowadays, they are even really small, so maybe it would work out after all. I don't know. So that was our last wedding setup there. We didn't have any others to look at. They told us for sure. We'd been to them all. We asked, and they're like, yeah, you covered all of them. You're good to go. So we said, all right, we're going to go back to the room now because it's a little warm outside. It's only getting warmer here in about the middle of the afternoon, and we still have work to do. We kind of bailed on working for a while to go and do this. It looked like fun. So we went back to our room and decided to try and wrap up some of our work. And when we got there, we were super hungry because we've been walking around out here in the heat and haven't had anything to eat. So we used that microwave that they brought up last night, which, by the way, is totally free. They're all based on availability. They only have so many at each resort to bring up to the rooms. But if they have them, they're happy to bring them up there, and there's no charge, which is cool. So we heated up our Chinese leftovers from our trip to Epcot yesterday, had those for kind of a early dinner, late lunch, more like a late lunch, I guess, and then sat down to finish working. And we worked for 3 or 4 hours there in the room before the sunset was getting pretty close, and we knew sunset time, it's going to cool down outside. This is the perfect time of year for a sunset walk around the boardwalk and Yacht and Beach Club.
We headed down to the boardwalk with total anticipation of taking a walk. But we saw that Boardwalk To Go booth that we'd eaten at 2 days ago, and we could smell the amazing smells that were coming from this. Now, we weren't super hungry. We knew we couldn't get a cheeseburger or anything like that, but we asked if there was anything that they recommended that they had that wouldn't be really filling. They said our cheese curds are amazing. And we also wanted those crinkle cut fries again because those were really good a couple days ago. So we ordered cheese curds and crinkle cut fries and sat there and did enjoy that view. The whole point of coming out here was to enjoy the sunset view. And we did because we sat there and ate our cheese curds and fries.
Yep.
Eventually we did take that walk after we finished those, and they were really good, by the way.
Yes, they were.
But then we took the walk, which was the entire point of going down there in the first place. Now we did have to get back to our room because today was our Instagram live Q&A. We did one on Facebook a few days ago. Now it's time to do one on Instagram for those who don't have a Facebook. So we did do that, and then decided to head down to the boardwalk to kind of see the nightlife there.
So when we got down there, we realized it was time for the movie Under the Stars. They'd been playing it a little while already, but it was Wreck-It Ralph 2 or Ralph Breaks the Internet, whichever one you want to call it. We love that movie. It's the cutest movie. I like the original Wreck-It Ralph. I like the sequel. They're both great movies. So we sat there on the green and enjoyed the movie for about 20 minutes or so. Most of like the middle, the good part of the movie, the best part right there in the middle. Enjoyed that for a while and then decided to take a walk down the boardwalk and maybe get a treat. I was kind of wanting something sweet, but not super sweet. So we stopped in the Boardwalk Bakery there and they had a little fruit tart. I thought that's perfect. It's light, fruit, sweet. It's gonna be perfect what I want. So we got one of those, of course, took some pictures of it, and it hit the spot. It was exactly what I wanted. And then Alyssa thought maybe she wanted something else. Didn't really see anything in the bakery that kind of appealed. So we decided to go over to Ample Hills Creamery to get a brownie sundae. Of course, Alyssa loves brownie sundaes. And we're really gonna try them all at Walt Disney World. That was the unintentional plan, apparently. So we get in there to Ample Hills, wait in the line to get all the way to the front, get up there, and they say, "Oh, sorry, we're out of brownies."
You can't have a brownie sundae without a brownie.
It's kind of a key component of the brownie sundae. So I said, do you want to get some ice cream without the brownie? Nope, just the brownie sundae. Okay.
No,
well.
I walked out.
Nope.
I was there for a brownie sundae, and I did not get a brownie sundae. But that's okay, because something else actually caught my eye when we walked out of there, and that was the photo booth that's there on the boardwalk. I was like, this will be a lot of fun. Let's go see how much it is. Well, it turns out if you have PhotoPass, it's completely free. Now, you don't get a printout. You do have to pay for those. But if you want the digital picture, you can take pictures in there for free. So guess what? Whether he liked it or not, we went in there and we took some pictures. And we took some cute ones. We took some fun ones. But we loved it because that's a fun memory and a different picture than your normal PhotoPass pictures at Disney World.
It really is. And since Memory Maker is included with our annual pass, of course, we're going to have the pictures from the entire year. But anytime we see something for PhotoPass, we're all about signing up for that because the pictures are included with Memory Maker. So it just made sense to use it. We didn't buy the prints. It was like $5 or something for the prints. we didn't need that. We lived out of suitcases. We don't have room for more prints and paper things. They're gonna get messed up if they're printed out, possibly. You don't keep them just right. So we opted out of that and just kept the digital versions from PhotoPass. And with that, we headed back over to our room and turned in for the night, and that is the end of our day. So we will see you tomorrow
For our Year with the Ears.